Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss uh, class 9 General Science, chapter 11, Work and Energy. So we are going to understand what is work, what is energy, how one relates with another, all these things in this chapter. In earlier chapters, we have discussed about the motion, movement of the objects, gravitation, gravitational acceleration, all these things we have discussed. And all living beings need food. And for that, living beings have to perform several basic activities to survive. Without performing the basic activities, living beings cannot survive. And basic activities, to do that basic activities, that means that living beings has to do certain work. So to survive, living beings has to do certain work. And to do that work, that living beings require certain amount of energy. Using that energy, that living beings can do the work. And we need energy to do activities. Without energy, work cannot be done, activities cannot be performed, basic activities also cannot be performed. And to survive, both are required. To do the activities and to do activities, energy required. So for this reason, now in this chapter we will discuss about the what is work and energy. Among these, first we will discuss about work. What is work? That means normally, if I say that taking some luggage on the head, and if I stand, if anybody stands on a place without any movement and not doing any movement, then work is not done. Force is also applied, but distance is not covered, then also work is not done. So if there is no displacement, no work. If there is no force, then also no work. A person, suppose, pushing a rock, a huge heavy rock, pushing the rock, and if that person is unable to displace the position of that rock, then work is not done. Though that person may become tired, though that person applies tremendous amount of force, but since displacement or the movement of the rock is not there, so we can't say that work is done. So in scientific way, if we define work, that means work only that time is done when there is a application of force and for which there is a displacement or distance is covered in the direction of force. So we can say that force is applied and for which displacement is there, and that displacement is in the direction of force, then we can say work is done. So simply we can say that if W denotes work done, then force into distance. If W denotes work done, then force into distance means work done. So when force is multiplied by distance, then work is done. And the distance covered is in the direction of the force. So both are essential. Force also must be applied to do that work, and distance also must be covered. That means position must be changed. That means displacement must be there. Otherwise, work is not done. So there are the basically two conditions required to do that work. Number one, force is required, and number two, distance must be covered. Displacement must be there. Position must be changed. So they are the conditions required to do the work. So I think you understand what is work. Now, force and distance, if I say, then work, we can say it is a work has only magnitude, no direction. So in that sense, work is scalar quantity. Force multiplied by distance, and work has only magnitude, no direction, then work is scalar quantity. But if I consider that force is a vector quantity and there is a displacement due to the application of this force in the direction of the force, there is a displacement. So in place of this distance, if we use displacement, then both are vector quantity. Force is also vector quantity, displacement is also vector quantity. Then work is also vector quantity. In that sense, work is also vector quantity. In that sense, work has also magnitude as well as direction. So if I say that force is applied and distance is covered towards the direction of force, then work is positive. I think you understand. Force is applied and distance which is covered or position which is changed, that is in the direction of force, then we can say the work is positive. Another way, force is applied, that is, the if I say that retarded force is applied, retarded force. In earlier case, accelerated force is applied, but in that case, if retarded force is applied to stop a vehicle or to stop something is in motion, to stop that one, that is retarded force. Retarded force is applied, distance covered, and to stop certain body, then work is done, that is negative. Because force applied to stop something, not to move something. Earlier want to move something, then positive, but to stop something, then negative. So in that sense, work is negative. So they are the cases in which case work will be positive and which case work is will be negative. The unit of work is joule. The unit of work is denoted by capital letter J. Unit of work is joule. James Prescott Joule, a British physicist, uh, did the research on electricity and thermodynamics, and very famous personality. Verified the law of conservation of energy. He is the first person who verified the law of conservation of energy, and for that reason, the unit of work is given as joule. When we will discuss about the energy, then we will understand why this work unit is joule given, because unit of energy is also joule. Energy means capacity of doing work, so unit of energy is also joule. Unit of work is also joule. So unit of both work and energy same. So in respect of his name, that the unit of work is given joule. 1 joule, in place of W, if I write 1 joule, then in place of F there will be 1 Newton and there will be 1 meter. SI unit of work done is joule. So we can represent this SI unit 1 joule, 1 Newton into meter. 1 Newton meter means 1 joule. So if I want to express this 1 joule into its fundamental unit, then we can express like that. In place of 1 Newton, we can write 1 kg meter per second square into 1 meter. There. Multiply both, then we got 1 kg meter square per second square. So we can say that 1 joule equal to 1 kg meter square per second square. So we can express this 1 joule into their fundamental units. This is the expression. Now, if I say that uh, one child is pulling a car, a toy car. One child is pulling a toy car, and then that toy car is coming this way. Pulling also this way and coming also this way. Then we can say that the work is positive, because the movement of this car is towards the direction of the force. Force here is that is pulling. Pulling is one force. So pulling, this is the direction of pull. So and this is the direction of movement. So work is positive. But a car is in running and to stop that one, then force is applied in opposite direction. So then that one is negative work is done. We can say then that is negative work is done. So we understood that what is work, what is the SI unit of work, express SI unit of work into its fundamental unit, and when work is negative, when work is positive, and under what condition work is done, what are the conditions required to do the work, and definition of work, formula of work, and from formula how to derive the unit and express 1 joule into Newton meter. That means in my multiple choice fill in the blanks, if comes then 1 Newton into 1 meter equal to what? Then 1 joule. So these are the things we learned. Now we'll discuss about the energy. We'll discuss about energy. Energy means capacity of doing work. Someone having the capacity to do that work, then only he can do. For example, if I say that to a baby to displace this table, then cannot. So that means that baby does not have that much capacity to shift it. So that's why unable to do. So that means that much energy that baby does not have. Now, if I say to someone among you, students of class 9, to displace this table, so easily you can. That means you have that much capacity to displace it. You have that much capacity to shift it. So that means you have that energy. So to do that work. So energy, that means capacity of doing work. Unit of energy is also joule. 1 joule is the unit of energy. And this is the SI unit of energy. SI unit of energy, joule. CGS unit of energy, arc. CGS unit of energy is arc, but generally in most of the cases, almost in 99% cases, we are using joule as a unit of energy, because this is the SI unit which is used to express energy. Normally, the CGS unit arc is not in use in that much. Now, there are two types of energies. Two types of energy. Number one, kinetic energy, and number two, potential energy. Kinetic energy denoted by EK, potential energy denoted by EP. So there are the two types of energies, kinetic energy and potential energies. Now, what is kinetic energy? Energy possessed by virtue of motion of a body. Energy possessed by virtue of motion of a body is called kinetic energy. And for example, if I say that moving bullet, blowing wind, flying aircraft, falling coconut from upper part to the ground. So they are the examples of kinetic energy. That means bullet is moving, so work is done. force is applied, displacement there, work is done, energy required to do that work. That energy is because the bullet, moving bullet possessing huge amount of energy. When penetrating something, then that energy is applied. So we can say that from these examples, we can say that if anything is moving faster, then it can possess much more energy. Anything is moving in slower velocity, then it can possess a less amount of energy. So bullet penetrating the things, the body, the objects, so that has much more energy because with a high speed that are moving. So we can say that energy possessed by virtue of motion of an object is called kinetic energy. Now we will discuss first about the kinetic energy. Formula of kinetic energy is half mv square. Formula of kinetic energy is half mv square, and we are going to prove it. Prove that kinetic energy is expressed as half mv square. So we are going to let us prove it. So before that, if I say that let an object of mass m moving with a uniform velocity u, an object of mass m moving with a uniform velocity u, and let it now be displaced through a distance s. When a constant force F acts on it in the direction of its displacement, then work done is F into S. That means, suppose here the body mass m is moving with a uniform velocity u in this direction, then constant force is applied on it, and coming here it stops. Then distance covered is suppose S. Then work done, we can say work done equal to F into S. Number 1. Work done equal to F into S. Now we know from the equations of motions. If A is the acceleration, V is the velocity, U is the initial velocity, S is the displacement, then we can write V square equal to U square plus twice AS. V square equal to U square plus twice AS, where V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, A is the acceleration, S is the distance or displacement covered. This is one of the equation of motion. From this equation, we can write twice AS equal to V square minus U square, implies AS equal to V square minus U square by twice A. Number 2. Now putting the value of AS from equation 2 in equation 1, we get W equal to, in place of F we can write ma, force equal to mass into acceleration. This is the Newton's second law of motion. From that we can write in place of F ma, and in place of S we can write V square minus U square by twice A. From 1. From 2 we got. Now this A cancel, we can write half m V square minus U square. So we got W equal to half mv square minus u square. So if I say that break this bracket, then we got half m v square minus half m u square. So from this equation we can say one conclusion that change of kinetic energy is work done. Here you see the change of kinetic energy. This is the final velocity, this is the kinetic energy half mv square, this is the initial velocity, this is the kinetic energy half mu square. So final kinetic energy, initial kinetic energy, and they are different, that is the change. So change in kinetic energy is equal to work done. So we can say that if the body starts from rest, suppose if the body starts from rest, then u equal to 0. If the body starts from rest, then u equal to 0, then W equal to half mv square from equation 3. And then this work done is the kinetic energy, therefore we can write Ek equal to half mv square. So this is the proof of Ek equal to half mv square. So I think you understood. You practice it, you go through this and try to understand in better way. So work done is the change of kinetic energy and air initial velocity 0, so Ek equal to half mv square. So we got the kinetic energy. Now next, potential energy. We'll discuss now the potential energy. Potential energy. EP, it is denoted by EP. Potential energy means energy possessed by virtue of rest of a body. Energy possessed by virtue of rest of a body is called potential energy. So W equal to, since we know W equal to F into S. Now suppose a body is covering a vertical distance, then vertical distance when will be covered, then in place this S will be replaced by H, and then the measure of gravitational force will come in act, that is the F equal to mg. So if I replace this F as mg and this S as h, then EP will be mgh. This is the formula of potential energy. This is the formula of potential energy. This mgh. Mg is the F equal to mg, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and h vertical distance is vertical distance covering, so s is replaced by height. So the formula of potential energy is mgh. Now let's try to understand the potential energy and kinetic energy in another way of one activity. Suppose this is the place and this is the marker. This marker is on the ground now. This marker is on the ground. Now I am taking this marker. When I am taking this marker, that means I am lifting this, applying force. This distance is covered, displacement is there, vertical distance is covered. So work is done. Work is done, right? And I placed there. Work is done by this marker. I think understood? I have taken this marker from the ground and placed here on the top, and that time force is applied, displacement also there, vertical distance is covered, so work is done. Who did that work? This marker did that work. So marker did the work, and that work remain stored as a potential energy in this marker. That work done, whatever work is done by that marker, that work done remains as a stored potential energy. That remains as a potential energy stored in his body. So potential energy remaining stored in its body, that means it has the potential now. Certain potential energy it has. Certain work is done, that work is converted to potential energy and stored in its body. Now when this marker is getting chance to get down, then automatically falling down. Now this marker when falling down, that time also this marker is doing the work. Now when getting down, that time it is in the motion. When it is in the motion, then it needs certain amount of energy because it is in the motion, so doing certain work. So to do that work, certain amount of energy required. So whatever the earlier energy is stored in its body, that is the potential energy, so when it is in the motion, that potential energy is converted to kinetic energy, and for that reason this marker is able to fall down again. So earlier when it is taken there, this potential energy remains stored in its body, and later when it is falling down, that automatically that one applied that potential energy, converting that potential energy to kinetic energy. That is whatever remains stored in its body, that is applied and converted to kinetic energy, and then marker is able to fall down. So this is the basic theory and relation between the potential energy, kinetic energy, how this work done and work done remaining converting to energy. So this is the relation. Now we will discuss about the law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. This law states that according to this law, energy can only be converted from one form to another. Energy can only be converted from one form to another. It can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. So energy can be converted from one form to another form, but it cannot be destroyed ever. And also it cannot be created ever. It is already there. It may be converted from one form to another form, but never can be destroyed or never can be created. So this is the law of conservation of energy. That means from this fact we can say that the total energy means sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy, and that always remain constant. So this is the expression of this law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy, that means total energy, that means sum of potential energy and kinetic energy, that always remain constant. That never be destroyed nor can be created. So total always remain constant. So this is the law of conservation of energy. We will try to understand this from one activity. Let us try to prove it. Suppose this is the ground. Where the vertical distance, suppose h, h is the vertical distance, and from the ground to the top is the height h, vertical distance, and there is one object. One object, suppose from the ground, is taken to this much height, this height h, having mass m, and from that height now the object is falling down. When the object is falling down, that in three phases, 3 points we are getting. This is the point number A, here in the middle point number B, and on the ground point number C. Now when in the motion, that time the distance from A to B is suppose x, and B to C, then there will be h minus x. So we are going to prove that the total energy remain constant in every point. At point A also how much that much will be at B, and that much will be at C. Let us prove it that in every point that object of having mass m is taken from the ground to the top at a height h, and from that point it is falling down. At that time, at point A, how much energy, total energy it has, that much same energy it will have at point B, and that much same energy at point C also. Let us try to understand. Now at point A, the body is in rest. So since the body is in rest, so B equal to 0. Since B equal to 0, therefore kinetic energy half m B square. So half m into 0, that means 0. Potential energy, it is at a height h and having mass also, g also there, vertical distance. So total potential energy mgh. Therefore total energy, sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy. Potential energy mgh, kinetic energy 0. So total energy there is mgh. So ultimately we got at point A, total energy we got mgh. At point A, total energy is mgh. That is sum of potential energy as well as kinetic energy is total energy. That is at point A, it is mgh. Now let's see at B also whether it is mgh or not. At C also whether it is mgh or not. Now at point B, at point B, so since it is coming from the point A to B, so it covers the distance x, and definitely it has certain velocity. So it has certain velocity. Since it has certain velocity, so from the law of equation of motion we can write v square equal to u square plus twice g. In place of h there will be x, because at B the distance covered is x. Kinetic energy, at the time of measuring kinetic energy, we are writing the distance from where it is started. It is started from A. But whenever we will write the potential energy, then we will measure the distance from the ground, not from the A. It will be from C. Now B square equal to U square 0, because it is at rest, that's why B equal to 0. Now U square is 0 because the body is starting from rest. So B square equal to twice GH. Now B square we got twice GH, therefore kinetic energy equal to half m. In place of B square we will write twice GH. 2 cancel, sorry, there will be not h, there will be x. In kinetic energy, the distance covered from A is x up to B. So this distance is x from point A. So here in place of h there will be x. So x, there also will be x. So kinetic energy to cancel, this is mgx. Therefore potential energy mg, height how much covered? H minus x equal to mgh minus mgx. Therefore total energy will be sum of this one. Now they are plus mgx minus mgx cancel. mgx plus mgh minus mgx. This mgx cancel, mgh. So at point A we got mgh, at point B also we got mgh. Now let's see at point C how much. At point C. Now at point C, B, the body stops at point C. So B equal to 0. So therefore kinetic energy equal to 0. Then potential energy will be am g, and the height, total height is h. So therefore total energy, the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So mgh plus 0, that is mgh. So at point C also mgh, at point A also mgh, at point B also mgh. So at every point during the motion of this object from the point A to C, we got that at every point that total energy is remain constant, that is mgh. Total energy does not change. Total energy always remain constant, that is mgh. So from this fact we can say that energy neither can be created nor can be destroyed. It only can be converted from one form to another. So always total energy remain constant. And I wish that you understood about the work and energy, law of conservation of energy, formula of kinetic energy, formula of potential energy, formula of work done. So all these things I think you understood, and now various numericals are there based on these formulas, and based on this concept you try to solve these formulas, that numericals, try to solve these numericals, and whatever I have discussed you try to relate my discussion with the textbook, and I wish you will understand better way. So this is the end of my first session of this chapter. In another class I will take the last session of this chapter. So thank you. I wish you understood.